Good day, everyone. My name is Anthony, and I want to talk about a few things that I have had uh, cost of time to reflect upon and to think deeply about them. And then, as a growing child, uh, uh, part of my experiences were drawn from from the time I was growing up, and then I had cause to reflect more on them, and then seeing the reality of this situation manifest in the course of my existence today. So the first one is to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of life? The purpose of life, many people will see it from so many perspectives, but if you are asked what is the purpose of life, because that is where every decision making starts from, the purpose of life. Many people will ask, is it about the meaning of life or is it about the intention of life? So the Catechism of the Catholic Church helps us to narrow down that definition in a very better sense. It says, why did God create us? Why did God make us? And it says, God made us so that we may love Him, so that we may know Him, and so that we may be with Him in this world, so that we may know Him, love Him, and be with Him in this world, and then in the world to come. So that helps us to narrow down that definition of life, of the purpose of life. And now, with the situations, with the aberrations and distortions in our world today, are we actually finding the purpose of life? Are we actually defining the purpose of life in the real sense of the fact? If you ask yourself, you can see that so many acts of enlightenment has taken over the stage, the center stage of our existence, and also robbing us of this real definition of our purpose of life. But the real essence of the real purpose of life, in the context of my reflection, is first of all that we may have a meaningful life, that we may have a fulfilled life, that we may have a happy life in this world and in the world to come. So many people have life, all kinds of life. Is it meaningful? That is the first question. Is the life you're living today meaningful to you? If it is not meaningful, then ask yourself, is it fulfilling? Are you deriving fulfillment from that life? If you are not deriving fulfillment from that life, then you can ask yourself the next question, are you happy with that life? So if you are not happy with that life, or if you are, is it going to lead you to the next, which is life after here with God? So that is a question that each and every one of us can only ask ourselves. Then, for many people, for young people who are growing, the next question is, what do you want for your life? Because everything happens about this life. Life. Everything happens about this life. So what do you want from this life? Nobody can give your life to you. You are the only one who is in charge. You are the pilot of the affairs of your life. What do you want for your life? Where do you picture yourself in the next 15 years, in the next 20 years? What do you see yourself doing? If you cannot answer that question at this moment, then you have not been able to answer the first question about meaningful life, fulfilled life, happy life. Because the first question presupposes the second question. So if you're able to answer the second question, then you've been able to address the first question. So where do you picture yourself being in the next 20 years? what do you see yourself doing in the next 15, 20 years? So that is the second question. Then the third question is about the distractions in life. For many people, I realize I I've been in situations very many times when I would be very thirsty, and I go for soda. When you're thirsty, what do you go for? Water or soda? So if your answer is soda, hold it there. If your answer is water, hold it there. Now, for those who chose soda, after taking soda or any kinds of beverage to quench thirst, what do you feel after a while after taking that? You still need water. And then what happens when you take water? For instance, when you take water, what happens? It addresses the situation in a very perfect way. Now, it addresses your hydration in a very perfect way. That is what happens in the scenario of life. So when you make decisions for your life, sometimes it looks like going after soda. Soda can only guarantee happiness, and then water can only guarantee fulfillment. Water grants fulfillment, while soda grants happiness. What do I mean by that? Many people in the world today are only happy. They are not fulfilled. Happiness does not guarantee fulfillment, but fulfillment guarantees happiness. Many people find happiness in whatever they do today. Many people are happy in whatever they do, but only a handful of people are fulfilled with the life they find themselves today, with their existence today. Because whatever it is they are doing, the hydration of life has not been quenched by what choice they want to make for their lives. Many people wanted to be either an engineer, a lawyer, one thing or the other, but for one reason or the other, the type of lifestyle you decided to choose for yourself can change the perspective of what you want to be. So in that essence, in that scenario, it brings you to another level of life whereby you want A and you are in B. And sometimes they can't help it. So the most important thing for us to decide in our life is to address the distractions of life. What do you want? Choose your friends. Sometimes we make those decisions for ourselves. Sometimes people make those decisions for us. Sometimes life itself, we find ourselves in the situation whereby we can't help ourselves than to choose. But whatever be the case, always remember you are in charge of your life. Then the next one I want to talk about is the three conditions of growth. One is foundational, the second one is formational, the third one is correctional. Have you wondered why the family today is defined according to John Paul as the nucleus of the church, as the smallest unit of the church? Because the family is the foundation whereby the first life of every human being begins. The family in Nazareth was the first life that Jesus experienced before encountering the second life of the society. Every one of us has, one way or the other, that opportunity, so long as we were given birth. Unfortunately, some people may not have this opportunity, but in any case, you are not at loss. There is always a good chance for a good beginning. Now, the foundational stage of every human being begins from a family. And each and every one of us has in stock about 100% chances of achieving the purpose of life. What do I mean by that? In the foundational stage of life, which is the family, we have 40% chances. And then we're expected to have 40% chances. And then in the formational part of life, which is the school, all the different stages of your academic or educational growth, you have 60%. Then the third one is the correctional, which is the society, which is 20%. Now, if for any reason you fail to get the 40% from the family, for one reason or the other, you still have another chance of 40% from school, from your education, from the formational stage, from whatever formation you undergo. It doesn't really matter it doesn't have to be formal education. It can be informal education. So, and then if you have from family 40, and then you have that is a foundational. If you get the foundational 40, and then add it up to the formational, which is the school, another 40. You have one more remaining, which is another 20 from the society, which is the correctional, making it 100%. That's an absolutely a wonderful individual in the society. But for any reason you lose from the family, and then lose 40 from the family, and then lose 40 from school, you are left to struggle for 20 from the society. Now, there comes where you have the correctional. The society, in most cases, has not been able to help people who could not find their feet in the first two foundational and formational stages of their life, because you have only just 20% to struggle for. And 20 in the scale of 100 is F, is failure. But if what the society does is, in order to help to see if they can help you grow, help you get back on your feet from what you've lost all over these years, what they do is to correct. They try to correct. Now you ask yourself, why do we call prison centers and cells and prisons, why do we call them correctional facilities? They are not there to form you. They are not there to bring a foundation of your life to you. They are there to correct what has not, what the society feels was not there, or even if it was there but was not used. So they want to correct. So if, for instance, you had it all from these two areas, the society doesn't need to correct you, because you can't correct what is there. What they correct is what is not there. They want to polish out what they want to chisel and put you into a new form, a new phase of life. So that is also a good thing, but only few people have the grace to come out brand new. So how do we get away from this situation as a grown up? as a young person, as a young woman, and as someone who wants to be a better person. Start from the home. Start from the foundation. Make sure you make sure you have all it takes. Make sure you learn all it takes from your family members, from friends and relatives. Make sure you capture the real things about life, the real things about that you need to grow with. Then in the society, in the school, which is the formational stage, you need to take it serious. Take it very seriously. Learn the things you need to learn. Take them seriously. If you have 80%, I don't think you have to struggle to be a lawbreaker in the society. So the society doesn't have to worry so much if you have a good foundation and a good formation. But in a good sense, being a good citizen, when you have 40 and you have another 40 and you have another 20, that's a perfect citizen. And that is what every citizen is expected. But a church citizen, a citizen of the church, and a citizen of the state. So if you reflect on this a little bit more, you will understand that the 100% is what everybody is needed to have. Thank you.